chapel and we're gonna get married. Hi guys, I'm getting married today. Today's my special day. I've been planning it for months, years. Picked out my dress, man's got his tux. We're ready. We're in love. And we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together forever. Forever. At least I hope so. Forever is a long time and anything can happen. Are we really gonna last? Especially when nowadays half of marriages end. Maybe if there were some tips or if someone was able to tell me some things to do to avoid divorce. There, I said it. My name's Alicia Thompson, and no, I am not getting married today. But let's face it, most couples, when they get married, they're not planning on getting divorced. They actually want their marriages to last, and they probably could benefit with some tips to avoid divorce. Well, today's your lucky day. Today, I'm going to give you 3 tips of things to do to avoid divorce. Don't mention it, communication, and exclusivity. Firstly, I will advise you to not even mention the D word. Secondly, I will advise you to communicate. And lastly, I will advise you to remain exclusive. Now, first point, don't mention the D word. We know how powerful our words are. In the Bible, it says, Proverbs 18:21, that life and death lies in the power of your own tongue, and those who love it eat the fruit thereof. Worldly View says, positive thoughts only, positive energy only, positive vibes only. They don't want the negativity. So we don't need to be speaking negativity, okay? And as far as marriage, divorce is negative. Now, according to an article in verywellmind.com, on verywellmind.com, titled Why Threatening Divorce During an Argument Will Harm Your Marriage, many people think about divorce. Many couples think about divorce. It is not uncommon. The thing is, you don't want to voice your opinions on divorce, especially when you're angry. Now, according to Chris Armstrong, a relationship coach, whenever you use the D word in an argument, you are removing safety, security, and trust from a relationship, which are basic human needs. So we don't want to be getting rid of our basic human needs, you guys. Also, in the same article, Dr. Paul DePompo says a spouse should never use the D word during an argument unless this is a serious consideration and is not being said in anger. The reason why it is harmful is that it opens up the door for divorce to be on the table. We don't want divorce to be on the table. He also goes on to say, basically, that when you mention divorce, you're basically making your vows null and void, and you're basically saying that till death do us part that you promised is not really true. Also, he goes on to say that when you do this, when you mention the D word, you are putting you and your spouse in defense mode. You are going into protective mode versus the problem-solving mode that you need to be in. Because when you're in problem-solving mode, you're able to be honest with each other, and you're able to get to the bottom of your fears and able to really get problem solving. You need to solve your problems. But if you are in defensive mode, you're hiding behind your anger and you're not getting anything done. So now that we know, don't mention the D word, the second tip that I'm going to tell you is communicate. You want to have great communication. We're in a communication class where we're learning that communication is key. You need to have good communication in the classroom. You want to have good communication in the workplace, and you definitely want to have it in the family, especially in your marriage. Now, according to the University of Rochester Medical, they list communication as one of its keys to a successful marriage, saying that when you have good communication, your relationship is healthy and successful. They also give you some tips on, in a good communication, to be honest and respectful and kind of each other. And they also say that you need to be good listeners, which is something that we've been learning in this class, that listening goes along with communication. So not only do you want to be able to speak well, but you have to be able to listen to the other person, and that definitely is important in your marriage. You want to be able to listen to your spouse. Lastly, have a conversation of substance. Don't just be talking about bills and the kids, okay? Now, personally for me, I say that good communication also leads to better friendship within the marriage, and also can lead to you becoming best friends. And most people say they want to marry their best friend, or they did marry their best friend. So if you want to do that, you want to have good communication. Now that we know, don't mention the D word, have good communication. Lastly, I would like to tell you, to avoid divorce, you want to remain exclusive in your marriage. This means on both fronts. not just sexual, but also information wise. You don't want to be telling all your business to other people. Now, with my grandparents, my mom's parents, she believes that they got divorced because my grandma told all their information to her friends and her family, and they advised her to. But there was still so much love between them, and they could have made it work if she hadn't listened to all those outside voices. Another similar story was printed in an article on psychologytoday.com by Michelle Weiner Davis, the director of the Divorce Busting Center. She had a couple come in for therapy from her, and after they left, they decided they wanted to make it work. The only thing is, the wife had already told all her family and friends about all the issues that was going on in their marriage. So when they heard they were trying to make it work, they were not on board with the decision at all, and they have since stopped talking to her. So now she has to deal with her familial issues on top of trying to make her her marriage work, and that's really difficult. Davis is hoping that they'll pull through, but she's advising couples, especially husbands or wives, if you're telling people outside your marriage business and they're becoming biased, stop talking to them and go to a therapist, especially one that's marriage friendly. Now, on the sexual spectrum, obviously, don't sleep with other people. According to a scholarly article called Marriage, Cohabitation, and Sexual Exclusivity, Unpacking the Effect of Marriage, multiple partners equals an effect on your quality and your individual health. So you don't want to be messing with those areas. You want to be living healthy. You want to have a good quality marriage. So do not have multiple sexual partners. So today I told you 3 tips on things to do to avoid divorce. First, don't even mention it. Communicate. And lastly, remain exclusive. Now, I know it can be hard to admit when you have an issue or when you have a problem. Nowadays, even in college, when we have a bad grade or something, we don't even want to go get tutoring or anything. We don't want to admit that we can't do anything. Well, we need to. It's okay to admit it. We're not perfect. And the same with marriages. If we feel our marriages are going downhill, it's okay to get some help. We don't want to just let it crash and burn. And hopefully these 3 tips will come in handy. Thank you. Bye-bye.